G'day guys and gals, so just gonna upload my own versions of these new, well, I call them new, it's the current event, it's a rerun event, so I didn't actually upload any for the last one because I wasn't actually uploading at the time. So what we are going to do is I'm going to start uploading these. So the big issue with this particular map is this enemy Sarkaz Centurion. I find these maps to be a little obnoxious without bringing 4 stars. Despite the, as you can see, the recommended level, E135s. I personally have attempted this a number of times with 3-star onlys, and I can get it to work with a hell of a lot of farting about, but even then it's not particularly reliable and it's not particularly good. Like, it's, I would describe it as stressful, but that's me. So we're going to bring a couple of vanguards, regular vanguards, so I've just got courier and scavenger. In this particular instance, you don't actually need to bring 2 fancy vanguards or 4-star vanguards. You can actually just bring a 3-star, so let's bring Fang. 3 tanks, so Gummy Beagle, Cardigan. You can replace Cardigan with a good single target guard. So Matoimaru. Who else could you bring if you liked? Because I am already using Melantha. I probably avoid Moose because the enemies are actually weak to physical in this. So even Indra would be okay. Popka. It's really up to you. I prefer to bring a tank because there are lances that go down there and they do tend to hit a bit hard. So it's nice to just have a tank there that should hopefully be able to walk it off. But even the AoE guards, so because they tend to have high health pools, so they can usually shrug it off. 2 regular healers, 2 snipers, single target snipers, 1 AoE sniper, a single target guard, so I've got Planther, fast redeploy, and that about sums it up. So it's very helpful to have a healing tank, a healing defender in this, just because that Sarkaz Centurion does do damage to 2 targets at once. So that can tend to spread damage around quite significantly in ways that you may not want it to. So it's good to come probably over-prepared more than anything. It's one of those problem enemies, unfortunately. So we're going to start our deployment off like this. Beagle will be popping in up the top there once I get some deployment points. 16, there we go. So I'll pop Beagle in here. That enemy's come past. Jessica's still hitting it, so I'm not too fussed. Ordering is essential as well in this particular map, simply because the ranged enemies have increased range. That's the challenge mode. So even though it's sort of squeezed my deployment points to its limit, putting in Jessica before Beagle was sort of essential. So we're going to deploy our AoE sniper here. Second healer in down the bottom here. And as you can see, we're maxed out for deployment points, so once that enemy dies, we can replace. We're going to push our second tank in all the way forward here. I'm not too fussed about Courier, because any of you who have used him know that he thrives in a defensive role. So here's our first problem enemy, and you'll see why in a minute. I'm hoping it should hit Jessica, but I'm not sure if it will. Okay, so it's hit Cardigan, which isn't too bad. You'll notice that Cruz will take out those enemies, no drama. It's the second enemy that we may need to be a little concerned about, but like I said, that's not going to be a huge issue. So Cruz has let me down, but that's okay. Whoop, not that one. Fast redeploy. Fast redeploy out. So this time I don't want this enemy to be hitting Cardigan, which it has anyway, but that's alright. So I have Melantha here working on this enemy, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword, whether it works out or not. You're always covered because that Lancer will come down the bottom here. It probably works out a bit better this way because Melantha can actually start working on that enemy, as well as Cruz, and Cardigan doesn't really care about it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully fast redeploy. So once again, it's that situation of whether it works or not, it doesn't really matter. Because as you see, Jessica's sitting here happily working on that enemy there. So there goes my fast redeploy. I'm not too fussed about that. I'm going to deploy Fang here. I'll deploy because unfortunately my poor old tank is sitting here getting soaked, so I'm going to deploy Courier in behind. My whole strategy's fallen to pieces in front of me. Okay, Gummy's back on her feet, so that's alright. Just going to pull Courier back out because I don't need him anymore. I'm going to deploy Gravel here. Again, just as an in-case scenario, because I don't want this enemy touching Gummy again. No bad touch. So these are the last two enemies. So if you really do so desire, you can start yanking off the top line. You can put Melantha in. It's pretty straightforward from there. It's just this particular enemy who is still here causing issues, and the Centurion, when they both come out together, as you see, it causes a little bit of a issue, which can go very wrong. So in this particular video, everything that can go wrong did go wrong for me. I absolutely was not on top of that as well as I should have been. But which is good in a sense, because it allowed me an opportunity to actually show you guys how you can work around what does go wrong and what you do when it does go wrong. So yeah, that's it. As I said, that's the worst case scenario that can happen just there. And that's how you work around it. Ideally, you probably deploy a bit quicker than I was. I keep underestimating how quickly those guys, or how slowly I should say, those guys switch targets. So outside of that, that's how you do it, guys. I hope that helps. If it does, please like, subscribe, and I hope to see you for the next video.